I never thought my own family could break my heart like this. Picture this, a sunny Saturday, my niece's 12th birthday party. Balloons everywhere, kids laughing. My 11-year-old daughter, Grace, was there, glowing with excitement, her hair styled in soft curls she'd begged for at a real salon. I wasn't there, stuck pulling a hospital shift, the kind of grind any working mom knows too well. I trusted my parents and sister to look after her. Big mistake. When I pulled into the driveway that evening, Grace stepped out, and my world stopped. Her beautiful hair, her pride, was gone, chopped off, jagged, like someone took gardening shears to her soul. My parents and sister held her down, laughing, while she cried, all because she was outshining her cousin. And I wasn't going to let it slide. I took her to the police the next day. That Saturday morning, my daughter Grace woke up with a smile that could light up the whole house. At 11 years old, she was buzzing with excitement for her cousin Bella's 12th birthday party. She'd been talking about it for weeks, planning every detail like it was her own big day. Grace isn't one of those kids who demands a spotlight, but she's got this quiet confidence, a spark that makes people notice her. Her hair was her pride, long, thick, and styled just right after a rare trip to a proper salon. I'm talking soft curls, half up with pearl pins tucked into a side braid, the kind of look that makes you feel like $1,000,000. She'd begged me for that salon visit, not the usual strip mall chop shop with flickering fluorescent lights and rushed cuts. "Mom, I want to feel pretty, just this once," she said, her brown eyes wide with hope. I'm a single mom, working hospital shifts, clutching a handmade gift for Bella, wrapped in glitter tape she'd spent hours perfecting. I dropped Grace off at my parents' house, kissed her forehead, and headed to the hospital for a Saturday shift. It's the glamorous life of a nurse, long hours, no sleep, and a constant juggling act. I thought nothing of leaving her with family. These were the people you're supposed to trust, my parents, my sister Sabrina, her daughter Bella. It was just a kid's birthday party, right? Cake, balloons, maybe a piñata. Harmless. Foolish me. I didn't realize I was sending my daughter into a trap, one that had been set long before she was even born. See, my family's never been the warm and fuzzy type. Growing up, I was always the second-choice daughter, the one who got the hand-me-downs while Sabrina, 2 years older, got the shiny new dresses, the lip gloss, the compliments. "Let your sister have it, Ruby," my mom would say. She's older. It wasn't just clothes, it was the way they looked at her, like she was the sun and I was just a shadow passing through. By the time I was 14, I'd stopped asking why. I wasn't pretty like Sabrina, or so I thought. I liked video games, books about dragons, and messy ponytails that fell apart by lunch. But Sabrina? Mind you, because it might catch the eye of her crush. Later, my mom pulled me aside. "Couldn't you wear something less flashy? Your sister's upset." That was my life, always dimming my light, so Sabrina could shine. It wasn't just her. My parents backed her every time, no matter how petty. She'd accidentally hide my makeup or forget to tell me the dress code for an event. Once, she swapped my conditioner for shampoo, leaving my hair a staticky mess for a week. They'd call me difficult, too sensitive, too much. I thought I'd escaped it when I grew up, worked my way through med school, bought my own house, and married a man who saw me for me. But family has a way of pulling you back into old patterns. I started noticing it during visits. My mom would purse her lips at Grace's outfits. "Isn't that skirt a bit much for an 11-year-old? Sabrina would make snide comments in front of Bella. "Wow, Grace, that's a lot of hair for someone your age." Grace wasn't even wearing makeup, just clear lip gloss and glitter clips, but the message was clear. Don't stand out. Don't make Bella look less special. The kind you only recognize in hindsight, like the universe whispering a warning I didn't hear. The front door opened, and Grace stepped out. For a split second, I didn't recognize my own daughter. Her face was pale, her shoulders hunched, and her beautiful, salon-styled hair, the soft curls she'd spent weeks dreaming about, was gone. Not trimmed, not styled, but hacked off in jagged, uneven chunks. Some pieces barely grazed her ears. Others hit her chin like a bad DIY project gone wrong. It looked like someone had handed a raccoon a pair of gardening shears and let it loose. My heart dropped into my stomach. I climbed out of the car, my scrubs still wrinkled from the shift, and managed to choke out, "Grace, what happened?" She tried to smile, the kind of brave, shaky smile that rips a parent's heart in two. "They cut it," she whispered, her voice so small it barely reached me. Then the tears came, fast and silent, spilling down her cheeks as she stood there, clutching the glitter-taped gift she'd made for Bella. I repeated her words, stunned. "They cut it." She nodded, her breath hitching. "Grandma and Auntie Sabrina." My chest cracked open, a raw, aching split. I wanted to scream, to storm into that house and flip tables like I was auditioning for a biblical meltdown. But Grace was sobbing, her little body trembling, so I knelt down, pulled her into my arms, and let her bury her face in my neck. Her tears soaked through my scrubs. "Can we go home?" she asked, her voice muffled. "Not yet," I said, and the calm in my voice scared me more than anything. It wasn't the calm of peace. It was the calm before a storm. We walked back toward the house, my hand on her shoulder, steadying us both. I half hoped someone would try to stop me, give me a reason to unleash the fury building inside. No one did. Inside, the scene was surreal, like stepping into a twisted sitcom. Sabrina was stacking paper plates, humming like she hadn't just shattered a little girl's world. My mom was wiping down the counter, chatting about leftover cake like it was just another Saturday. We asked her to put it in a ponytail. She refused, so we cut it. I blinked, trying to process the casual cruelty in her words. "You cut it," I repeated, my brain struggling to keep up. She was being difficult. My mom chimed in, tossing a sponge into the sink. We gave her a choice. "A choice?" I echoed, my voice rising despite myself. "So, let me get this straight. You told an 11-year-old to do something she didn't want, and when she said no, you held her down and cut her hair off." Sabrina shrugged, her face blank. "It's just hair, Ruby." My mom nodded, adding, "Bella was crying. She saw Grace's fancy, salon hair, and felt bad. You think that's fair? Parading your daughter around like that?" I stared at them, these people I'd called family, talking like Grace was some rival at a high school prom, not a child who'd spent hours wrapping a gift for her cousin. "Fancy, salon hair?" I said, my voice low. "Dangerous." "You mean the $120 I worked 2 night shifts to pay for?" Because she wanted to feel beautiful for once. Sabrina rolled her eyes. "You know we can't afford that. You made Bella feel ugly on her own birthday." I couldn't feel my hands anymore. My vision tunneled, the room shrinking to the sound of my own heartbeat. These were the people who raised me, who taught me family was everything, and here they were, justifying assaulting my daughter because her cousin was jealous. Grace wasn't some threat. She was a kid with a kind heart, and brushed off her tears like they meant nothing. My dad, sitting on the couch with a plastic fork and a slice of cake, didn't even look up. "She was showing off," he muttered, her trust in the world crumbling with every second. I turned to my mom, my voice ice cold. "This isn't over." I didn't wait for a response. I took Grace's hand, and we walked back to the car, her small fingers trembling in mine. She kept wiping her face, trying to hide the tears, and it broke me all over again. Halfway home, she whispered, "Do you think it can be fixed?" My throat tightened, but I forced the words out. "We'll make it beautiful again, baby. I promise." She nodded, believing me, and that trust, her unwavering faith in me, was the worst part. She still thought the world could be made right. In the silence of the car, the reality sank in. This wasn't just a bad haircut. It was a violation. And they did it while laughing, while Bella filmed it, while my dad ate cake like it was entertainment. I didn't scream or cry, not then. But as I gripped the steering wheel, and I was done playing nice. By the time we got home, my mind was made up. We weren't just going home. We were going to the police. They'd answer for this, not to me, but to the law, to Grace, to the truth they thought they could bury with a pair of scissors and a lie. The drive home from my parents' house was a blur. Grace's quiet sniffles filling the car like a heartbeat I couldn't ignore. I kept replaying her words. They cut it, and the image of her jagged, ruined hair burned into my mind. This wasn't just a bad day or a family spat. It was wrong, deeply wrong, and I wasn't going to let it slide. By the time we pulled into our driveway, I knew what we had to do. "Grace," I said, turning to her in the dim glow of the streetlights, "what they did to you wasn't just mean. It was illegal. They touched you without permission, held you down, and hurt you. That's assault." Her eyes widened, like she hadn't realized her pain had a name. "Really?" she asked. "Really," I said. "If you want, we can report it to the police. But it's your choice." She picked at her hoodie sleeve, thinking, then nodded. "Yeah, let's do it." My 11-year-old, barely taller than my waist, was ready to fight back. And I was ready to stand with her. The next morning, we walked into the police station, me still in yesterday's makeup, Grace in her oversized hoodie, looking small but determined. We were assigned to Detective Alvarez, a no-nonsense woman in her mid-40s with a practical haircut and kind eyes that sharpened as we told our story. Grace handed over her phone. Her face tightened, then flattened into quiet disgust. "This is enough to open a formal case," she said, her voice steady but firm. "You did the right thing coming here." Grace answered her questions with a clarity that made my chest ache with pride. When Alvarez mentioned a child advocate would join the follow-up interview, Grace nodded like she was accepting a mission. She wasn't trembling anymore. She was angry, and that anger gave her a strength I hadn't seen before. We left the station with a case number and a plan. But the real storm was waiting at home. That night, my phone lit up with my mom's number. I braced myself and answered. "Are you insane?" she shouted, skipping any hello. "You went to the police over hair? You're going to destroy this family." Her voice was a mix of panic and rage, like I'd betrayed some sacred code. I let her rant, her words spilling out, how I was overreacting, how I was tearing everyone apart. When she paused to breathe, I said, "You should have thought of that before you assaulted my child." Silence. Then, "We didn't assault anyone. It was a haircut." I almost laughed at the absurdity. No, it was humiliation. It was violence. And now it's evidence. I hung up, my hands shaking but my heart steady. For the first time, I didn't feel guilty for standing up to them. The next morning, Sabrina called, her voice cracking. "CPS showed up at my house, Ruby, unannounced. They checked Bella's room. I reported what you did. The consequences are yours." She tried begging, her voice breaking. "You're tearing us apart. I could lose my kids." I didn't budge. "You should have thought about that before you held mine down and cut her hair while she begged you to stop." I hung up again, the click of the phone feeling like a door slamming shut on years of excuses. I wasn't playing their game anymore. That afternoon, I got a text with screenshots from Facebook. There they were, my mom, my dad, Sabrina, spinning their version of the truth like they were auditioning for a reality show. It was a game, they posted. Grace wanted a makeover. Ruby's being unstable again. Her mouth tightened as she scrolled. They're lying, she said softly. I know, I replied. But they're not getting away with it. I paused, then asked, would you be okay if I posted the video? She looked at me, not like a scared kid, but like someone done being silenced. Please post it, she said. So I did. No long rant, just the truth. This is what they call a game. This is my 11-year-old daughter crying while they hold her down and cut her hair. She said no. They laughed. I attached the 12-second video. Grace's pleas, Sabrina grabbing her hair. My mom standing there like it was nothing, my dad eating cake, Bella shouting, do the front next. It spread like wildfire. By evening, the same people calling me dramatic were backtracking, tagging me with apologies. This is horrifying, one wrote. Why is that kid laughing while she's crying? This is assault. Comments poured in, strangers and friends alike calling it what it was. The church friend deleted her post. Funny how truth changes the narrative when it's caught on camera. Grace sat next to me, watching the view count climb. She didn't say much, just gave a small smile. The kind that said, they see me now. The legal wheels kept turning. My mom, dad, and Sabrina were convicted of misdemeanor assault. No jail time, but they got fines, criminal records, and a permanent mark on their names. Sabrina got hit hardest. CPS ordered her to complete a parenting course, and they'd be monitoring her household for a year. I heard her husband threaten to leave. Their vacation got canceled, and the stress was eating them alive. I didn't feel bad, not even a little. They'd made their choices, holding down a crying child, filming her pain, lying about it after. The case wasn't just paperwork. It was proof that what happened to her wasn't just hair. It was a crime, and she was worth fighting for. As we drove home from the station, Grace looked out the window and asked, what happens now? I told her the truth. Paperwork, maybe court, maybe protective orders. It won't be easy, but we're in this together. She nodded, her voice firm. Good. That one word gave me chills. My daughter was reclaiming her power, and I'd move mountains to make sure she kept it. A week after the police station, the stylist didn't try to fix Grace's hair or make it what it was. Instead, she leaned down, smiled, and said, let's make this yours. An hour later, Grace looked in the mirror, touching the sharp. Was worth every sleepless night shift I'd worked to afford it. Grace made another choice that day. She didn't want to see my parents or Sabrina again. Not at school events, not at holidays, not ever. They don't get to hurt me anymore, she said, and I nodded. You decide who's in your life now, baby. Always. Looking back, I see my own childhood in hers. The years I spent as the second-choice daughter, dimming my light so Sabrina could shine. I swore I'd break that cycle for Grace, and I'm keeping that promise. What they did to her wasn't just about hair. It was about control, about punishing her for being herself. But we showed them her voice matters. Justice wasn't loud or dramatic. It was Grace walking into that police station, head high, telling her truth. It was her knowing she's worth fighting for. Your fight. Hit that subscribe button for more raw, real stories like this. Let's keep talking about protecting our kids, respecting their choices, and standing up to those who try to tear them down. Because no one should dim their light.